This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, fine. So we are using the user called as ERP3 and provide the password. Fine. So in the last session, I think just we discussed a few points related to which additional offerings we have to add to our project and what is the purpose. And we discussed about inventory structure. So we'll have inventory within that sub-inventory optionally, stock locators. So item master organization for item creation, inventory organization for inventory management to maintain the quantity, stock and all. Sub-inventory just primarily for receiving and to store the items also in the respective area. This is also the segregation of items. These two, like even inventory level, these are the different levels where you can segregate and maintain the items. So as a first step, what we have to do is we have to make sure that for our business unit, the inventory related business functions are enabled or not, or say assigned or not. Which business functions? Receiving and material management. Those we verified, yes, those are assigned. So what is the purpose of this setup? Well, if you don't set up, what happens? System won't allow you to perform the inventory configuration. This setup for the purpose of to allow inventory configuration. Done. Now we have to create the facilities. As per EBS facilities, we are calling as workday calendar. So this is primarily required in the manufacturing operations. Primarily in BOM application. Bills of material here to schedule the jobs, jobs, and along with that to make a planning or forecasting of item requirements. So planning, say just planning of material requirements. Okay, for these purposes, this workday calendar can be used, but not directly in the inventory or purchasing or order management applications. But since it's a mandatory definition, we are going to do it. So here the same workday calendar we are calling as facilities. To complete the definition, we have to perform these three tasks. We'll go on to perform one by one. So first we have to create the facility shifts. Go to our implementation project. Okay, go to implementation project.
Sorry, Lakshman, even though if I'm not implementing manufacturing, facilities setup is required.
Yeah, this is a mandatory setup. To create your inventory organization, the actual inventory organization, physical real inventory, it is a mandatory. For item master definition, which is a virtual, not required. It is a mandatory in EBS also, right? In EBS, when you create inventory organization, when you set the inventory information, you have to provide it as a mandatory. You have to do it. Fine. Go to project, manage implementation projects, select our project, search for the task called as facility shifts. Okay, facility shifts. So same task is available from the different offerings and paths. So product management, financials, procurement, and material management. Okay. So other than financials, you can select this task from anywhere. It won't make a difference even if you select from financials. But since we are working on SCM side, we'll select from any one of the SCM related application. We'll go with the product management. Just click on manage facility shifts. Okay. So what we discussed, first we have to define the facility shifts. After facility shifts, facility workday pattern. After workday pattern, facility schedules. The same you can see in the sequence. The same tasks you can see in the sequence. Facility shifts, facility workday patterns, and facility schedules. Okay. Anyway, we are going to create facility shifts now. Just click on go to task icon. We have to define the shifts and the shifts and shift timings. So here there are many shifts definitions. You could see since it's a vision instance, as a part of vision definition, Oracle created, and for practice purpose, testing purpose, you guys created is all the definitions. Anyway, we'll go and create our own. Click on create, give the name, say ERP tree. I'll write it as a day shift. Okay, and take the start time, shift start time. So I'll say shift starts at 9 o'clock. You have to follow this format and space AM. Okay, this is a format it will accept. If you don't follow this format, if you try to move, it won't accept. Okay, you have to specify the AM or PM, and exactly this format you have to follow. Say AM. Duration, shift duration, say 8 hours. Select 8 hours. Fine. And here you can specify the shift detail type. Of course, we are not going to use this in any one of the process in inventory purchasing order management, since mandatory we are creating. So shift detail time, you can select none. The flexible in the sense the timings are flexible. So if company is going to give the flexibility for the employees to follow any shift, any timings and all, you can select flexible. Punch means punch in, punch out. Like, so when employees getting into the organization, they'll punch in, like they'll be capturing that time, and again if they take the lunch break, punch out again, punch in again when they leave from the organization. I mean when they leave from the office for the specific day, again punch out. That's how, like, so if they're going to track the timings and all that, they can use. Otherwise, normally if you want to set a fixed timings, go with a none. Okay, so give the name, optionally description, start time, duration, how many hours, and shift detail type you can specify. Then say save and close. This is how you can create a number of shifts. How many shifts you have in the organization, you can create all. So just click on that. We create a shift. Now we'll go and create the workday pattern. Okay, next task is workday pattern. Create the workday pattern. So task name is manage facility workday pattern. Click on go to task icon. Fine. So click on create. So here you can give the workday pattern. So here P3, you can just say 5 days working. Okay, just or else you can write here P3 workday pattern. 5 days working and 2 days non-working. 5 days on and 5 days off. 2 days off. Length in days, 7 days. Length in days, 7 days. Week, 7 days. And just click on add here, workday pattern details. Click on add. So how many days working? 5 days. So the count starts from Monday. So you can give 1 to 5. 1 to 5 means system will take as a Monday to Friday working. Okay. And shift, whatever you defined, that you can select here. This is applicable for which shift. So that as a day shift we created, just search and select the value. Given the name as ERP tree, search, select, say OK. So system will default the information from that. So start time 9, end time automatically is taking. At the time of shift creation we didn't give any end time, right? Start time we given, duration we given. Based on that, system is calculating what is the end time for the shift. Okay, 17 means 5 o'clock. Give the specifications. If you are going to have n number of shifts, you can list out here. Click on add one more shift. That's how you can specify. Say save and close. So workday pattern we created. Now we have to create the workday schedule. Okay, the facility schedules. We're done with this task. Facility schedules. So manage facility schedules. Just click on go to task icon. Click on create. These all are just already available in this instance. Since this is a visual instance, we know in fresh instance we don't see any this sort of sample data. Just click on create. Say ERP tree schedule. Or write it as a time schedule or anything you can write. Just you can name it as ERP schedule. And here you can add those patterns as a part of the schedule. Click on add, give the sequence, and select whatever the, here you could see that directly. Click on LOV. Here we have the pattern which we created. Same way, if you have a multiple patterns and all, here those all you can list out. Say save and do close. So this basic definition we required to complete the inventory related configuration. Yeah. Any question?
Lakshman, like you are given the effective end date as today.
Effective, it will take default. It will take default. Even there won't be an issue since we are not going to use it. 1 second, we can change otherwise. Yeah. Ideally it will just default the same date, or else you can change to any date, because this anyway we are not going to use in this process. So just definition where the value is required at the time of inventory organization creation. That's it. Yeah. System is defaulting the same date. That's all. Okay. Say save and close. I just updated to 2021. Fine. So in case of EBS, when you create the workday calendar, within that you can just specify the exceptions also. Here if you want to specify the exceptions, the working days to non-working, non-working to working, those you can specify. Those you can add in this, or else directly you can add those here. Those you can define, and whatever we created here. Just click on edit. So here also you can see the same. Schedule exceptions. Exceptions you may create and you can add here. Okay, which working days are non-working days, which non-working days are working days. Those you can just define by using the schedule exceptions. Anyway, as of this, we don't require in this process somewhere to use. That is the reason not required. This definition would be enough. We have to select only schedule, the exceptional days and all, not required for us. Okay, done. So this schedule only will be selecting. Okay, the schedule we'll select inventory parameters. Okay, whatever the facility schedule we define, that we select in the inventory parameters. Fine. Now we'll see the item master organization definition. Okay, so at the time of item master organization definition, these facilities are not required. The schedule is not required. That is required only for inventory organization. Fine. So first we'll create the item master organization. Why we have to create first item master organization? At the time of inventory organization definition, but for that inventory organization, which is the item master inventory, we have to select. That is the reason in the sequence, when you talk about sequence, first we have to create item master only. So to create the item master organization, we have a task called as item organization. Okay, go to project, search for the task called as item organization. Search for the task called as item organization. So the task is available from product management as well as procurement. Why it is available in the procurement? If you are implementing procurement, it's a mandatory you have to complete the inventory organization definition. That is the reason, since procurement has a dependency on item organization creation, just they given as a part of procurement. But reality, the task is related to product management. That item organization task is belongs to product management. But they made it as the task as a shared task with procurement also because of dependency. Okay, now just you can go with the product management task. Click on manage item organizations. Click on go to task icon against the same task. Click on go to task icon. In EBS, if you are going to create item organization, there is no specification whether that is item master definition point of view. There is no specification you can give. Based on the name only we can understand, and there is no option for system to understand whether that is item organization or inventory organization. If you select any inventory organization as an item organization, then system will understand, right? But here there is clear, very detailed specification whether the organization is item organization or inventory organization. First point is task itself. They are saying this is item organization. At the time of definition also you can see proof of the definition. We'll see that. Just click on create. In EBS, everything will create from the same form, and just will give the classification also same, inventory organization. Okay, we'll create the item master organization and we'll create the actual inventories. For everything we'll give the classification as inventory organization only. But here, so for item organization creation we have a separate form, and when you create the item organization, system is taking the usage as item management. That's how these definitions will get segregated. Fine. We'll see what purpose we are creating this item organization. For item management. Okay, for item management, we'll create items and we'll manage the items only for that purpose. So first we'll see how to create the item master organization. After creating that, just we'll go through this option also. If you want to select any existing organization to convert that organization as an item master organization, how to do it, just I'll take you through. Okay, ideally we create. Okay, we no need to go classify some other organization. Okay, for example, you are giving the name as ERP tree organization. You give a name like this. So if you want to use the same name for your business unit, inventory organization, for everything, in that case you can, you might have created ERP tree organization as a business unit. This could be your business unit name. With the same business unit name, if you want to create item master organization, actual inventories also, by selecting the same name you can create inventory organization. Okay, so here this is the option you can use. For now we'll go with the direct definition, which normally we do. So you can give the name ERP tree item master organization. So here this is a name, and reality this is a code. They given as a field name as organization. See here, once you place the cursor, it is showing unique alphanumeric identifier for inventory organization. It's nothing but code. In EBS, when you create, just will see when you enter into inventory parameters or inventory information, there we provide the code for inventory organization. The same you have to give, but they're given as a name, and all you have to write in the uppercase only. So I'll give the name as ERP item. Okay. So this is the organization code for item master. Since it's for item creation purpose, I'm just giving the code as ERP item. You should not use any space. If you use space, that will treat as a error. Don't keep any space. And what are the organization name you enter? Ideally, it is organization code. You have to enter in the uppercase. So system is taking this as a for item management.
Lakshman, how many digits it enters? It allows
It
us?
will accept. No, in EBS only 3 digits, right?
Yeah.
3 digits only you can enter, 3 characters. Here it will accept.
Okay.
Okay. So you can go with that count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. Max 18 digits allowed. Fine. Done. So it's item management means it's a item organization, inventory, item master inventory organization. Done. And business unit, since it is item master virtual inventory, we no need to map any business unit here, not required. And location, no, not required. It is item master organization, not real inventory, virtual inventory, not required. You no need to map the primary ledger and legal entity. If you select business unit, yes, system will allow you to select primary ledger and legal entity, but this information is not required. Reason, this is item master inventory. Okay, done. That's all. Just give the name and the organization code. That's more than enough. Say save and close, and just click on next. You should go with this. You have to specify which is the item master organization for this organization. This is organization itself item master, but you have to specify that. Just click on next. Select which is item master organization. The same organization is item master. So select ERP tree item master organization. And starting revision, you can give so many revision when you are working on the relevant function. We'll see that, but here as of now you can say starting revision. Any revision number you can specify, letter you can give. Done. Then say save and close. This is how simply you can create the item master organization.
Then,
Sorry,
what is the revision here?
revisions, will be doing the revisions for the items which are there in this inventory organization. That is a separate concept we'll discuss. Since there is a separate topic, I'm just putting some value over there. So when you are defining that actual inventory, also will see many inventory related many topics, but then and there we cannot discuss and all. We'll define it. Once we get into the inventory application, we'll be working on those one by one. Then we'll refer those points and we'll be setting how we required and we'll be executing. Okay. Fine. So we created inventory item master organization. And so again, I'm going to create. If you want to use any existing organization name, just name only. Here you don't want to give name. Already you have similar name which you use for some other organization. The same name you can use, rest you can fill. Okay, we created directly item master organization just now. But if you want to use any existing organization only name, you can go to select an existing. This is just for information only. We don't need to do it, just for understanding I'm taking through, but ideally we just go and create it. You don't need to use any existing. So so for example, I'm searching with ERP tree So we have a legal entities, business units with this name, and enterprise also. So if I want to use the same name, is already here I written very clearly business unit. We don't use this for inventory organization. But if it is a very generic name, you can select this and you can click on select organization, go to task icon. The name system will take here. Rest of information we have to provide as it is. It's all about taking the name only instead of entering the same name once again in the system for inventory organization. The name you can copy from any one of the existing organizations. Rest of details we have to provide. Everything remains same. We'll give the organization name and we'll be providing all these details, and we'll go to next and we'll specify the item master organization name. If you want to use any one of the existing organization name to create any new organization, the reason the same, the new organization which you are creating, you want to, the name you want to have same as the existing organization. In that case, instead of entering the name once again, we can pick the same name from existing organizations. Okay, there is no great advantage here, only you can avoid the name entry, and again one more, it won't be available in the system as a two records, two names, one only, but classification wise this will become item master organization. That's it. So generally we don't use it, not required. We directly go and create it. Okay, so just we created item master organization. Now if you want to create the inventory organization, the physical inventory, real inventory, which you could see in the client businesses, so we have to create the location for inventory organization. Okay, we'll go and create the location for inventory organization. Search for the task called as location or inventory location. Any task you can use. You can use the task called as manage locations or inventory locations. Also, we have a task. Any task you can use. You can go with any task. So here, I'm just selecting the task which is there with the product management path. Any task, all are same, all will take us to navigate to same page, but available from the different paths. That's all. Just I'm clicking on manage locations, click on go to task icon. Fine. Say create, just click on create. Here you can take the name. So already discussed the location set by default system takes as a common set. Just remember that point we'll be discussing. So we'll create our own, and what is the purpose we'll understand. For now we don't need to select, directly system is taking. Here we can give the location name. I'll give the location name as ERP tree US inventory organization. Okay, or else we'll take some location. Okay, ERP tree Dallas inventory, and you can write the code. ERP3, since code I am just giving in the uppercase Dallas. If this location, what are the location you are creating, this location you want to use for only specific inventory, you can select that inventory name here. If you want to use this location for multiple inventories also, if you want to keep that flexibility, you no need to assign to inventory organization. Ideally we don't assign here. Okay, even if it is a flexible, if that is applicable, then only we'll select. Okay, since the values are available, we don't select locations for any inventory, right? So when we are creating inventory, that inventory belongs to which location, that location only normally we map. So that just give the name and the code, provide the code, and here you have to provide the detail address. Fine. So you can say Dallas Okay, here in advanced search you can find, or else you can go with any one of the postal code. It's a postal code field, zip code. I'm sorry, I'm searching with that. So search with any one of the postal code and select it. Okay, so Dallas, one relevant postal code I selected. Done. So by default, when you are creating any location, so we didn't inform to the system this is for inventory. This location you may use for business unit also, right? For business unit, we create a location from the same page. For any definition that could be business unit or inventory organization, by default system will be marking these details. This is as a ship to location and a receiving site and a bill to site. This all system will be specifying, and you can select how you require. Okay, this is not going to be bill to location, you can set to no. Okay, if it is not going to be ship to location, you can set to no. If it is not going to be ship to location, which is ship to location system is asking. So this all you can specify how you require, depending on what purpose you are going to use this location. Again, this location you are going to use for inventory or business unit. Based on that, you can give the specification. Okay, by default, let system take it as it's for ship to and receiving and bill to for these purposes. You can say submit. So we create a location already for business unit. By using the same task, we are creating the location for inventory organization. Okay, we have separate task also for inventory location creation, but it will take to the same page. Task is available with a different name also. You can search and you can see. Search for inventory location. Search for locations. So manage inventory organization location. This also will take us to the same page. Okay, no difference. That is the reason you can use any task. The naming convention they given as manage inventory organization locations. Okay, you can create locations by using this manage locations task for any organization. For our inventory you can create, for business unit you can create, for anything, any organization definition, any organization's location required, you can create from here. But they're given the separate task called as manage inventory organization locations also. Okay, but both are same, all are same. Done. We created location. Now we can go and create the inventory organization. At the time of inventory organization creation, location will become mandatory. Since it's item master organization, location became optional at the time of definition, but here it's a mandatory. You have to associate this inventory will be under which business unit, which primary ledger, which legal entity also. But we'll go and see that. So search for the task called as inventory organization. Search for the task called as inventory organization. Inventory organization. Fine. Search for task called as inventory organization. The same task, manage inventory organization, same task is available from with the three paths. One is product management, material management, and the procurement. Fine. We can go with any one of these path-based tasks. I'm just selecting product management. Fine. Just click on go to task icon. Task itself different. Notice this point. Task itself different. Okay. So with this task, if you navigate to inventory organization creation, it is taking the usage as a inventory management. Okay, inventory management. The purpose of this task is for inventory management. Item master for item management. This is for inventory management, where you can maintain the stock and all. Okay, quantity, everything, and you can perform the inventory transactions. All you can do with this. Fine. So you can provide the name. think for earlier inventory we given what name we given dollars. Okay, no, yes, item master only we given. Fine. So for this you can give name as ERP tree dollars inventory code, organization code, ERP tree dollars. Okay, and here we have to specify, since this is a real inventory, we have to specify this is going to be under which business unit. Select our business unit here. So ERP tree US business unit. Okay, US business unit. And whatever the location we assign to that business unit, same location system is defaulting. The same, if location is same, okay, or else select what is the exact location for our inventory organization. We given the name we created inventory organization location as a dollars, right? Search and select. Search with the term called as ERP tree. We have ERP tree dollars inventory. Select. And based on this BU selection, system is defaulting primary ledger. How it is defaulting? After creating the business unit, we assign business unit business functions to this BU. Along with the business unit business functions, we selected primary ledger and legal entity, right? So that is the reason whatever the primary ledger is associated to this BU, that the same primary ledger system is defaulting here. So we have to select the legal entity which is associated. Only one we have select that. Done. Now we have to provide the inventory information. Okay, after giving these details, click on next. In case of EBS, we go to others tab. There we have to select inventory information, then we'll be navigating to this page. Here just click on next. You can see these details, general information. Here we have to select facility schedules. We created schedules, right? Here we created this schedule, whatever we created to select in the inventory parameters. These are the inventory parameters. Okay, or inventory information you can read. So here we have to select the same schedule. We given the name as ERP tree schedule. For this inventory organization, which is item master organization, already we created item master organization, the same you can select. So item master organization name is ERP tree item master organization. So what are the mandatory fields we'll provide here so that we can complete the basic definition. When we are working on the relevant functionality, we'll just come back here and we'll set those options and we'll test that same functionality. Starting revision and all, just you can accept the 0. Later we can change it, no issues. So just I'm keeping as a that revision as a. It has to take the revision as a series as a. And here lot serial number.
Sorry,
and
Lakshma.
Yep.
Lakshma, can you go back to
Yep.
go to item master?
Please, item master.
If you look at the item master organization on this tab, if you display it is also displaying Dallas unit location as Dallas
Sorry.
So the one you are creating is for dollars, right?
Yeah.
Which is the inventory org. So when you look at the item master list of values, it is displaying dollars as well. Is that true or?
Dollars. This is actual inventory.
That's actual inventory, right? Where does it?
Yeah, we never take it. See, ideally this value should not come. That's how they should have programmed. But they are allowing any inventory organization. How this at the time of definition only we classified, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's it. That is the point we have to understand. The values may come, but we should have an understanding which value we have to select. This is not at all an item master in terms of definition itself, right?
Yeah,
it's not a.
That's what we are creating. Okay.
Yeah. Values they are allowing to display, but anyway, we know that. So we have to ignore that. So this is our item master. So by selecting this item master, what we can achieve within this item master, if you create item, that items can be associated with this inventory organization, arbitrary dollars inventory. That's how the relation can be established. So other nothing is mandatory here. So when we are working on lot serial number, at that time we'll be setting the lot controls and generation at what level, okay, and lot generation, all these specifications, serial number generation, all will be setting. For now, nothing is mandatory. Okay, you can just proceed. No field is mandatory. If anything is mandatory, we can provide. And additional information means DFF, descriptive flex field. If you can enable the descriptive flex field, you can capture the additional information in this page 11. Okay. Anyway, I'll take you through how to enable the descriptive flex fields, how to see from the specific transaction from anywhere. We'll just look at that. So that's all. Just provide this very basic information, that would be enough. When we are working on the relevant functionalities, again we'll come back so that we can understand for to implement which feature, where we have controls, what information we have to specify, how it works. Right.
Actually, the item master organization is nothing but the org assignment.
Item master organization nothing but org assignment, not no. That is different. So
Okay,
when
where
you are
we are
creating, no, when you are
where
creating
we are
your
assign, yeah.
Okay, when you are creating your actual inventory, you have to assign the items to this inventory, right? The items will be assigning from which inventory organization. Here you will create, those can be assigned to this inventory. That is the meaning of it. You require items in this inventory, right? ERP3 dollars inventory. Can you
Correct.
create the items in this dollars inventory?
No, we have to create an item master and then we have to assign this item.
In which
Yeah.
item master you are going to create to assign to this inventory, we are specifying.
Okay.
Okay. The items which you create in this inventory only can be assigned to this inventory.
Correct. Where do we assign these items?
That we'll see later, not now. First we have to
Okay.
create item, right?
Okay. Okay.
We not yet created item. Okay, now we are creating the relationship. That will help us to assign the items to this inventory which are going to be created within this item master. Same logic in EBS also. Okay, fine, done. So that's all. These are the details you can provide. Anyway, we have to come back to this definition many times depending on the features which you are going to test, which are part of inventory. Okay, so instead of discussing now itself what is this lot serial setting and doing the process, relevant process later a point of time, we'll do setups also whenever those are required, so that we can understand those where we have the control, where we have to set what controls the process and what enables the specific feature. Yeah, please.
Comparing to EBS, they remove the accounts. There's many accounts
The
to.
accounts they removed. The reason just I just mentioned also, they given that receipt accounting, cost accounting as a separate definitions. So nowhere you see like in EBS, when you set up inventory information, nothing but the current page only. We provide accounts. GL accounts, you can find additional tab, right? GL
Yes,
accounts.
yes.
So, and when you set up purchasing options, we find accounts. When you set receiving options, we set accounts. But here nowhere you set accounts. Only we will be setting those separately. Separate configuration they given for that. We'll be working on that. But notice here no accounts. So if you compare, yes, as you mentioned, because all the accounts that. Yep.
Do we have to keep allow negative balances? Check it and check
No,
this.
it's a default one. Default one. If you don't want to allow in your organization, uncheck this. It's a by default system is taking. I'm just accepting. Okay. If you are going to test that function, at that time we can talk about it. Okay. It's a by default. Allow negative balances. It is.
Okay,
Fine.
thank you.
So
Just say
Lakshman, allow negative on-hand transaction. Is this a new functionality?
no, we'll discuss. We'll work on that. Okay.
Okay.
Those, or you could see that check boxes and all. Everything will point to specific functionality. So when you are working on the inventory transactions, when you come back to this page, we'll discuss and we'll be working on it. If we start talking about those points, we'll be drilling down one by one.
Sorry,
That is the reason. That's it. Yeah.
Lakshman, this question is a low balance is a low negative quantity is a new feature. No, it's not a new feature. It's available in EBS.
No, that's what. No, we should not. I mean, let's not get into those points not required in this stage. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, we are going to cover. If this is a one time we are going through this page again, we are not going to come back to this to see what we have here, what features we can enable process. So we can discuss here itself, but it's not like just we are doing just basic setups. So once we get into the process, we'll talk on that, please. Yeah. Fine, done. We created physical inventory, actual inventory also. Now we'll be receiving the material into the actual inventory only, right? We never receive the material into item master. So for this inventory organization, we'll go and set the receiving parameters, nothing but receiving options. In the system, you can see as a parameters, you can understand when you compare with EBS, these are options. In EBS, we see receiving options. The same here as a receiving parameters. We'll go and see that. We'll just go and complete that setup. Just click on done. Search for the task called as receiving parameters. This is nothing but receiving options. Okay, what purpose this we do? To set controls on receiving process. All the rules or controls are defaults, right? To set controls, or you can call as rules or defaults. To set controls on receiving process, or say to set the rules for receiving process, or specific defaults, we can specify the same system will default in the process. Okay, fine. Just search for the task called as receiving parameters. Yes, you can see here the same task is available from the two offerings, procurement and material management and logistics. You can go with any one of the tasks. Both are same. Click on go to task icon. You want to set receiving parameters for which inventory organization? To dollars inventory. Click on search. You can search with the ERP. So this is the organization code we give it. Okay, ERP $3. Say okay. Click on OK. So here you can see inventory organization, the code what we given that system is taking. If you want to set the receiving parameter for other organization, again you don't need to go back. Simply you can click on change organization. Here it will ask to select different organization and you can set. Fine. So for now just we'll set up mandatory information. Now receipt exceeding and all just not required. So receipt the tolerances and all will set later. So receipt days exceed action, you can set to none here, just because here by default system is taking the zeros and all. We'll test this functionality also later. We'll just come back and we'll set receipt, I mean early, like if you are expecting the receipt this month 20th, if you are going to receive 2 days early, what is the action? System has to give the warning or it has to reject. Okay, those just will be testing, no issues. But for now, just to complete this, I'm setting as receipt days exceed action none. Even receipt days exceeds, it could be early or late, so no action is required. Over receipt tolerance, so none, no action. If receipt quantity, okay, it's going to be like 10% is going to be exceeded. We placed order for 100. If you are going to get 10% extra, 110. In that case, what is the action we have to take on over receipt? So system has to just throw some warning message or it has to reject it. Should not allow us to record the transaction, that you can specify. Those will be testing. For now you set to none. And receipt routing method. So let's select as standard. We know this standard means what do you mean by standard? 2 steps process. That means how you will be receiving the material into organization. Sorry. So standard receipt means first we'll receive into receiving point. The next step would be will be moving into the actual inventory. That could be your sub inventory or you can call as inventory. 2 steps process. Direct delivery means no receiving. Directly will take the material into inventory. Reality sub inventory. Inspection required, 3 steps process. First we'll receive into staging. Second step is we'll conduct the inspection. Through inspection, whatever accepted, those will move into inventory. Okay, depending on the items or organization process, this can be selected and we will be testing the different options also. For now, we'll set standard receipt as a default receipt routing method. And when you are creating the receipts within this inventory, okay, when you are receiving the material into this inventory, we'll create the receipt. When you are creating the receipt, how the receipt number need to be generated? Okay, if you remember, in EBS also will set the receiving receipt number and the receiving options only, right? So these all are part of receiving options only in EBS. Same as it is the same functionality screen they're given here, but name they change as a parameters. That's all. Fine. So receipt number, how receipt number need to be generated? Okay, you want to enter through manual process when you create receipt? No, ideally we don't go with that option. Generally we go with the automatic number. So when it is automatic, what type of numbers? It can be numeric. If it is a manual, it could be alphanumeric, right? So you can enter numbers and the letters, anything you can enter. So since it is going to be automatic, only numeric number can be taken by system. What is the next number? That means it would be your first number for receipt. When you create the receipt, system will start numbering from here. It will run the number by following the sequence. And RMA, written material authorization. If you perform the sales returns, okay, whenever you record the sales returns in order management, the sales against the sales returns, you have to create the RMA. I mean, you have to receive that quantity, whatever the quantity customer is going to return, that you have to receive into inventory. In that process, which receipt routing method you are going to follow? Whatever the customer is going to return, that directly will be taking back to the inventory, or you will again conduct the inspection for that whatever you are going to receive from the customer as a sales returns, or you want to go with the standard receipt process. It's nothing but first you'll take into receiving or say staging, then you will be placing that material into inventory. So that you can select, it's a mandatory how to set here. So even that process related to order management, of course, once you do there, the next step would be in the inventory only to receive into inventory whatever the quantity customer is going to return. Fine. So specify all these mandatory details, and based on the functionality which will be working, we'll come back and we'll set that relevant configuration and we'll be working instead of discussing in this stage itself. Okay, again we'll discuss now. Again, by the time we work on that, again we have to go with some overview and understanding. So that is the reason when we are working on the functionality specific setups we will discuss and do it. So done. This is the basic information you can provide here. Say save and close. This is all about setting receiving parameters, nothing but receiving options as per EBS. In EBS we call as receiving options. Done. And sub inventory. It's nothing but within the inventory organization. It's all about segregation. Okay, you can just allocate different spaces to maintain the different items within the inventory organization. Within the inventory, so you can say inventory segregation. So within the inventory organization, within the one inventory, you can have one or multiple sub inventories. Already we discussed the point. This is 100% system requirement. This could be business requirement also, sub inventory. So many businesses you can see sub inventories within the inventory. In some businesses you can see there won't be any sub inventory concept, but if you are going to implement this solution for those clients also, you have to create the sub inventory as a mandatory. Without sub inventory, you cannot receive the material. So it is item segregation purpose, and it will help us for receiving. Okay, you can receive the material if sub inventory is available within the inventory organization. Otherwise, no. Fine. We'll go and create the sub inventory definition. So search for the task called as sub inventory. Sub inventory is part of which offering?
Materials management.
Material management.
Material management.
Yep. So that is the reason only we added that offering, okay, to create sub inventories and locators. Locators will create later when you are working on the locator functionality. But now we'll go with the sub inventory. But they given the task as manage sub inventories and locators. No issues. We can just create up to sub inventories. Task name is manage sub inventories and locators. This is available from only one offering called as material management and logistics. Okay. Click on, go to task icon against this. So manage sub inventories and locators. Somebody is unmuted. I can hear some background noise. Fine. So here system is selecting our inventory organization. If you want to change, if you want to create the sub inventory in the different inventory organization, you have to change the organization so that whatever the sub inventory we create, that would be part of this inventory, right? So click on create. Within this inventory organization, there is no sub inventory here. Okay, no sub inventories here you could see, or else you can search and find already created and it's not getting displayed here. So click on create. Give the name.
Lakshman, does Oracle do not provide some seeded sub inventories?
No default sub inventory. Okay. Because Oracle cannot assume like what name you required, because there should be some purpose. The most of the organizations will have a sub inventory concept. If for some companies it is not applicable, also you have to create. So when you talk about this sub inventory, they'll be having their own naming conventions, right? Within the inventory, how they segregate the items, for which item segregation, which sub inventory they are maintaining. Accordingly, we have to create. Okay, even Oracle is going to provide, we'll create our own sub inventories, right? So again, where sub inventory has to be? Within our inventory. So when our inventory organization is not there, which need to be created by us, how Oracle can provide. If Oracle want to implement the logic, they can implement the logic. Whenever you create the inventory organization, automatically one default sub inventory can be created. That's how they can write the programming. System will create, but that logic is not there. Okay, so sub inventory should be part of inventory organization. So just now we created our inventory. Okay, if Oracle is going to provide some predefined one, that should be part of which inventory? First of all, there won't be any inventory also in the fresh instance, right? So these are the points why they are not providing it. It has to be part of our definitions, not the individual value. Fine. Just click on create.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So sub inventory. Why you are going to have the sub inventory? To maintain which items? Say I want to have, just we'll go and create 2 or 3 sub inventories. I'll say one sub inventory for MacBook sub inventory. If you want to specify the location for that, you can specify. Okay, and you can give that a specification. Otherwise, just keep. And this sub inventory for what purpose? If you are going to make this as just for staging area, just receiving point, before you take into the actual storage place, you may just get that material into that items into some staging. If you want to create the staging, you can take as a receiving. If it is going to be really your sub inventory where you maintain the stock, you have to make it as a storage. Anyway, system by default it will take as a storage. So whenever you require receiving, At that time, we'll take the receiving. We'll just create the receiving and receive. Okay. Or else we'll create one receiving also. Okay. This is one sub inventory we are creating for storage only.
Is required, right? If you implement the
Sorry?
order management, one minimum staging, one stage sub inventory is required, right? If you implement
Yeah,
order.
yeah, yeah. When you are implementing the order management, yes, it's a mandatory. You have to create the one staging
Yeah, we
receiving.
will create one. Yeah, now.
Yeah, we'll be working on that. Yes.
Okay.
Even in this, even here, it's not mandatory to understand the process. We'll create and we'll see that.
Thank you.
Yep. Fine. Thanks. Fine. So just I'm creating one sub inventory for storage purpose only. Just say save and close. Same as it is if you compare with EBS, same way how you define.
Lakshman, one question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, if we select receiving, then when we receive the material, on-hand quantity won't show.
On hand quantity it won't show. When we are going to check on hand quantity, you can check the on hand quantity, how much is in your inventory, how much is in the receiving area also. There, if you
So it
want to
will
check on
come.
hand quantity in the receiving, you can, but directly by selecting the inventory on hand quantity, it won't show. Where how much quantity is available, it will show accordingly. If you select receiving, by selecting receiving, if you are checking on hand quantity, how much is available, how much quantity is available in the receiving point, then only it will show. It won't show if the stock is going to be within the on hand receiving point only, if you don't take into inventory. On hand, when it will show, once the items receiving is happened by taking the destination as inventory, that only it will show as on hand. If destination is receiving, you have to select the receiving parameter over there when you are searching for item. Then it will show how much quantity is available in the receiving area, how much quantity is available as a destination of this inventory. That's how it will show.
Okay,
That
thanks.
also will be testing. We'll test it. We'll test it. We have to understand. Okay. I'm just going
Okay.
to create one more sub inventory called as iPhone sub inventory. Okay. This is also for storage purpose. Say save and close, and we'll create one more as a receiving, which is staging. Create. I'll call it as staging.
Lakshman, sir, did they remove the accounting for the sub-inventories as well?
Everything, yes. In EBS, when you are creating the sub inventory, you could see around 5 accounts, right? Material account, which system will default from the inventory organization itself, and resource, outside processing, right? All these you can find,
Yep.
right? But here, no. All the accounts, they move to that receipt accounting and cost accounting. Fine. We'll be working on that. Okay. But in this stage, we cannot do anything now. Here, these setups we have to complete. To understand that point, yes, no accounts here. Wherever you see the accounts in EBS with respect to inventory and purchasing configuration, you don't see in the Fusion. That completely they moved. So for receiving, you have to select the location. You may create some another location as an internal or some specification, and you can select. For now, here you can select any one of the location to complete it. For now, we will specify whatever the location we created, that only you can select. Okay, you can select this, or else you can create internal location, some dummy value you can create, that you can select to complete this receiving, or else staging inventory definition. Okay, select and say save and close. Done. So we created 3 sub inventories. Done. Fine.
One more
Now,
question, Lakshman. When you create a
yep.
sub-inventory in ABS, we have it, but it's a nettable, non-nettable, is it assets or not? So it's no longer exists that either?
Sorry.
I saw it. It
Okay.
is there. Certain.
No. What is your question?
The question is, does sub-inventory or is it assets or not?
Yeah. That specification we have, the checkboxes we have, those controls we have already. 1 second, let me open. So we created MacBook. You see, asset sub inventory. Okay, quantity tracked sub inventory. Fine. Those we have. Those are the basic things which should be part of that to identify and to classify. Those are there. But when you talk about staging, it's just for kind of receiving. So for that, nothing is applicable. Okay, done. Locators and all will create from here only. Here only you can create locators. The locators will create when you are testing the locator functionality. When you work on the locator functionality, we can do it. Fine. So item class, if you start with item class, it requires some time to discuss and to complete that setups. So that item class definition and items and organization definition we'll see in the tomorrow session. Within 10 minutes, we cannot complete this item class and the discussion. We have to spend some time to understand, since it's a new in the Fusion. You don't see in the EBS as item class and all. What is the purpose will they given, and what purpose they given this, what we can achieve with this, how the security can be implemented, how that will enforce when users are going to create the items. Those all points need to be discussed. So that we'll see in the tomorrow session. So tomorrow we'll start the session sharp 8 o'clock, and I'll be sending the meeting link before 10 minutes. And within the 10 minutes, you can join and you can get ready from your end. So that we'll be starting the session sharp 8, and we'll just wind up the session by 9:30 from tomorrow. So for today, that's all. These are the basic setups, and we'll discuss and we'll be doing. Once we're done with that, we'll see. We'll go and verify. We'll pass some inventory transactions, and we'll be looking into that. Okay. So, and yesterday's session video I placed in the Google Drive. Hope everyone is able to access. If any issues, please let me know. And if you have any instance related issue also, I think the password was not working. Now it is working fine. So as a part of session only, we did that. So apart from that, if you have any issues, we can discuss now.